Hi you guys, my name's Stephanie and this is Spirituality with Steph. So I created this YouTube channel to kind of link up with my podcast. So you can honestly switch between Apple. I just put it on Apple. It's kind of processing now. It's taking super long. I don't know why, but it's on Spotify. I have 2 episodes up right now. The first one's just kind of an overview about spirituality, the metaphysical world, which I'm going to talk about in this video as well. So I'm going to link them up like I said. And I also have a manifestation podcast out, so I'm going to talk about that in here as well. So anybody that didn't view my podcast, it's again going to be similar. So this spirituality, the introduction to it is, I kind of view it as like a religion almost, because you know it has the principle of like why the world is the way that it is, you know, this higher energy. So we don't believe in a god, it's like an energy, a universal consciousness, things like that. So meditation and things like that, we connect to the universal consciousness. So I know a lot of people are like, oh my god, spirituality is creepy. So that's just the stigma. Everybody has those scary movies like Insidious and shit like that. Like, it's not that. So it's a lot of open-mindedness, because again, a lot of this stuff you can't see unless you're experiencing things, which is also really cool, and I can get into that. I have a lot of stories of things I've experienced personally. So I really started believing this stuff when I again started experiencing things. But I was raised Roman Catholic, so I never really clicked with that. But when I started taking world religions class in high school, I really kind of realized like that doesn't make sense, like none of this really makes sense. So I started learning about like other principles of other religions like Buddhism and things like that. And I wouldn't say that like I'm Buddhist, I didn't change to Buddhist or anything like that, but I really resonated with a lot of the principles of the other religions. And it's just really interesting because when you're raised in a religion, you're taught that like this is the right thing, this is right, nothing else is right. So you look at other religions and you're like, well, I believe in that, I don't know. So also a really huge thing with the Roman Catholic Church, and I guess any religions, I don't really know which ones identify as what, like in respects to gay marriage, things like that, that really pissed me off. I innately, like I'm a very loving person, I'm a very like about equality, you know, that could just be because I'm a Libra. I'll get into astrology later, that's really cool too. But yeah, so that shit just pissed me off, and I was like, I don't know. And the whole theory, I started getting more into spirituality and everything through college. One of my friends, Kat, she taught me a lot about spirituality, and I had just gone to her and told her about my crazy stories, and she was like, no, like, this is why that makes sense, and it all kind of made sense to me. So the signs, that's what I'm going to start with. That's where the podcast started too. So the way that you guys can recognize if you're getting signs from like the higher consciousness, your higher self, your spirit guides, your guardian angels, things like that, you can use, there's a whole array, it's different terms and everything, but they send you messages, you know, and I am saying this and you guys might think I'm kind of crazy, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm getting messages from spirit, whatever. Just trust me, listen to me. Synchronicities. So I know I'm not the only one that has seen synchronicities on the clock, and by that I mean like 1111, 111, or you see a license plate, it's like 222, 1234, things like that. So I started noticing synchronicities, like I noticed them here and there, and I just, oh, coincidence, whatever, but eventually it came to a point where I was seeing synchronicities more times than I was seeing like random numbers on the clock. So it was super weird, and I see synchronicities every day, like receipt numbers, total transactions, like it's weird. And so I started taking notice of that, and I looked into what the numbers mean and everything, and you guys can find those anywhere, like they're all over Google. It's super interesting. Every number means something. They use numbers, and for example, like spirit animals, a lot of people have heard about that, I'll talk about that too. They use numbers and animals and symbolism because, again, with the dog whistle, your vibration, it doesn't click to you. So sorry, I talked about the dog whistle in my podcast, and essentially just the whole theory that like if you have a dog whistle, some people can hear it, but like a lot of people can't. Dogs hear it because, you know, it's for their vibrational pitch. So it's the same kind of concept with energy and the higher consciousness, where it's like if they're trying to send you messages, you're not going to hear it, you know, it's not the same. So they use symbols, things that we recognize, things that we see patterns, you know. So look more into that. The numbers are crazy. I also talked to my podcast. So when I was making the draft, my friend Kat had sent me a link, and it was just to a number synchronicity page and about synchronicities. And her and I share like metaphysical, spiritual things together, so that's not weird. But it was really weird that she sent it to me at this time when I was making the first podcast about synchronicities, and I had just seen 222 as I was making the podcast. So that also really coincides with how crazy it is, because I just got grades back for finals. So a little backstory about myself, I want to tell you guys, just to make any skepticism go away, I guess. You know, it's really important to kind of trust who you're learning these things from, especially when it's so, you know, theoretical, I guess, until you see it. So I'm 22 years old. I am very educated, I promise. I have a whole undergraduate degree. I'm in law school right now. So that is why 222 was crazy, because I had just gotten my grades back for school. So a little backstory for that. Law school is hard. Law school is so hard. I am dying. It's fine. But so a lot of stuff was going on. I've been really stressed throughout the year. I was so stressed I couldn't eat. Like I lost 15 pounds fall semester, gained it back winter break, did the same thing spring semester. So it's been really tolling. And this is why this is like the first time I'm starting my videos and stuff. So I went in to take my first exam, constitutional law, all about the Constitution, things like that. So I just got registered for accommodations because I have ADHD, just got tested, whatever, so that's cool. And obviously I'm going to take the extra time, right? So I sit down for the exam, they give me my stuff, they're like, Stephanie, this is yours. I was like, okay, great. So she said start, I start taking the exam, it's con law, I go through it, and I finished the whole essay. It was about 2.5, 3 hours later. And then I get to the next part, and it was multiple choice, and we weren't supposed to have any multiple choice, so I was like, and I flipped the page, and I kept flipping, and I saw the other professor's name, so I had a heart attack, went up to my proctor. The whole thing was a clusterfuck. They registered me through the school to take the wrong exam, so I'm really pissed about that. I probably will be contacting the ABA if anybody gives a shit about that. So that really sucked, and essentially I had to take a pass-fail for the exam. So I took a pass-fail for the exam. This was easily the exam that I was most prepared for. I knew so much about this subject. My professor was so great. I studied for literally 41 hours. I wrote down each time I was in the library, and then that happened. So then I took a pass-fail, got all my other grades back, obviously couldn't really concentrate on my exams and stuff, and I lost my scholarship by 0.1 GPA. So I didn't fail or anything like that. Like, I'm not dumb. I want you guys to know that I mean, not even, sorry. A lot of people in my class, like, have been struggling. Like, it's not easy. If you fail, it doesn't mean you're dumb or anything like that. It's really hard. It just really sucks. And that changed because my scholarship was almost my entire tuition. So I don't even think I could get another loan to cover that for the next 2 years. So I'm really stressed. I've been contacting the dean and everything. Nobody's answered me back. Obviously, I don't know, but whatever. So I'm just really stressed, and I've been kind of contemplating, like, is this even for me? Like, why am I putting myself through this misery for what? Like, for money? Cool, I have a degree. I can get another job, you know? So I've been kind of internally dealing with that, and that's why it was so crazy that Kat sent me that, because 222 means that the changes that you're going through, the issues that you're going through, while they're hard, they're for your best purpose. So that was just really crazy that she had texted me at that moment. And also spirit animals. I want to talk about this quickly too. Spirit animals, again, the guides, your angels, things like that, they use spirit animals, again, because of the communication, whatever. So animals that repeatedly show up in your life, especially ones that like you don't see every day, notice. So my example of this is I've only seen a spirit animal used for me one time only. It's usually numbers for me. Again, it doesn't have to happen like this to everybody. It's different things for everybody. It's what you resonate with. So I live in Rhode Island, and I live kind of like in a wooded-ish area, but it's like a neighborhood. So we see deer frequently, but I pulled up into my driveway and there was a deer kind of near my car, and it was daylight, like whatever. So I get out of the car, like trying to be quiet so I didn't scare it. And it didn't move. I got like pretty close to it and had it on video and stuff, and then all of a sudden it just like turned and was like, and like galloped into the woods. It was crazy. So I go inside and I show my family, and I was like, how weird, whatever. So they're like, yeah, that's crazy, like you got pretty close. But again, we see deer, it's whatever. So then like an hour later, my spirit guides were like, hey asshole, like we just sent this to you, like why aren't you seeing this? So I made a coffee, with the Keurig and everything, and you know how sometimes like the film settles on the top? So it was like the whitish film, whatever. I am not even kidding you. It was in the shape of a deer. And like, not like, oh, maybe that's a deer. Like, it was a fucking deer. And I had it on the counter. Like, I was with my ex-boyfriend at the time, and we both looked at it and we were like, I don't know. Like, it was weird. So I also showed my parents. I took a picture of that. Like, I still have a picture of it on my old phone somewhere. I'll have to find it. But it was crazy. So at that moment, obviously, I was like, all right, like I get it. So I looked up the deer symbolism, and it was really applicable to me in that moment. And it's signs and messages from the higher realm, the higher angels, or things like that, to help you be guided. They're trying to guide you. That's what they're here for. So it's not scary or anything. Listen to the signs, and they are really helpful. They're here to help. So the next topic that I want to cover is part 2 of my podcast, and it's manifestation. So manifestation is super cool. I don't know if you guys know what manifestation is. It's essentially just asking the universe for what you want. And I know that sounds crazy. It sounds like wizardry or some shit, like I belong in Hogwarts, but like, no. So it's really just that easy. It's really just asking the universe what you want. So before I even get into what it is and everything, like to how to do it, I'm gonna give you guys a story. So I didn't even know that this was manifestation, and I found this out years later about this. So in high school, I really dealt with a lot. I was in a really bad place, and I was at work one day. I think at this time I was like 18 or 19 though, by myself, and it was kind of nice out, but there weren't a lot of people coming in, so it was kind of weird, and I was just serving people, whatever. So I was at work, and the song Build Me Up Buttercup came on. So if you don't know that song, you should, because it's great. But it was really sentimental to me because I work a lot with Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and I was a co-coordinator for the youth program for a couple of years, and I was a leader and stuff before that. So we were at this conference, and we were at lunch one day, and all the staff members who were like my age, we all just got up and we started singing Build Me Up Buttercup, and we just like flash mobbed the whole cafeteria, and like the kids loved it. It was so sweet, and it was just really heartfelt. Like, it was really heartwarming. It was nice to see that like humanity is not completely wasted. Like these kids really care. These kids, it's a lot. It's nice. So when that song came on, I was like, oh my God, like if this song could just play on repeat for an hour, like I swear I would be okay. And like, because that song made me feel so good, I was just like, maybe this would help. Like maybe if I just did this, like it's fine. So literally after the song ended, it came on again. And I was like, because we have a Pandora radio, so like those don't play songs back to back. Like they don't, it's weird, you know what I mean? So I was just like, and I waited, and it kept playing, and it kept playing for an hour. That's what I had asked the universe for. It had played for an hour on repeat straight. Like no song is interrupted, nothing. Like swear on my hamster Bean, like I can show you guys him, he's fucking cute. You guys, this is Bean. So when I say I swear on Bean, this is my little baby hamster. He's so fucking cute, I love him. And I would never wish him harm. So I just want you guys to know, I'm so serious, like this is real. I'm out here trying to help you guys too. So I hope you listen, I hope you look for the signs. So let me know if you have any questions or anything, and I'd love some suggestions for topics that you guys are interested in. I'm definitely going to be talking about like astrology, aliens, psychic abilities, things like that. Well, thanks for checking out my channel, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.